Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, is part of the outrage also coming from what happened in 2019? The fact that the Balakot strikes were politicized by the BJP to win the elections.
There has never been a military operation in history that has not been politicized by a ruling dispensation. World War II, World War I, the Iraq War. Tell me one particularly victorious military campaign. Nobody wants to take, credit for draws or ceasefires. Everybody wants to take credit for a successful operation, and usually the ruling dispensation does. Now, there is a long history of using glamour and TV for the purposes of the military, for military recruitment. In America, for example, if you're making a military movie, the army, as long as it is not an anti-army message or an anti-military message, the army will provide you with explosives. They will give you, access to F-18s like the latest Top Gun movie and things like that, the Top Gun remake with Tom Cruise. They had free access to Navy equipment, explosives and things like that. In the Soviet Union, for example, some of their greatest military marches, which you hear at the Kremlin on the May Day parade, on the Victory Day parade, songs like the Cossack Choir, Katyusha, which is one of their most famous marches. These were all premiered during Stalin's time in, Soviet films. In India, it is a different genre, a different kind of recruitment, and putting these three officers, in KBC, which is a sort of popular milieu, is appealing to a certain kind of recruitment. What is wrong with that? If you remember the Indian military band at the Kremlin Zoria, which is their annual military festival some 6-7 years back, you can find the video on YouTube. They were playing Jimmy, 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 Aja, Aja, Aja. Because that got turned into a march apparently by the USSR, because, in those days they didn't get Western films. It was Indian films. So, I don't understand why this is upsetting people, because all of these are very established things that have happened historically. The tie between movies and the military, and using movies as a tool of military recruitment.
So, Abhijit, here's the point that Priyanka Chaturvedi has made. There are some snarky comments about it's Kaun Banega Crorepati today. Will it be Big Boss tomorrow? Will you be sending your officers in uniform to Big Boss as well? But the comment that Priyanka Chaturvedi has made is this. I'm fairly certain you have heard of it. The very broadcaster who's bringing officers in uniform on KBC is the same broadcaster that will be broadcasting India-Pakistan matches during the Asia Cup. That is hypocrisy.
That is absolutely hypocrisy. And I salute Priyanka Chaturvedi for raising that issue, because it is a very serious issue. First of all, you can't say that stop all cultural contacts except when, it is important for us in some obscure way which has not been put on record why it is important for us. That those matches with Pakistan need to be cancelled. Remember, the BCCI is world cricket. There is no world cricket without India. If you can't even use it to get Pakistan out, especially in the 3 years where Russia has been systematically excluded from every single sporting event across the world, including from Wimbledon if you play under the Russian flag or anything like that, she makes a very valid point. It is complete hypocrisy. It should not be done. And certainly the channel broadcasting it should not have gotten these three people from the armed forces. So she's got a very good point there. That is a very nuanced point. The rest of it, I don't believe holds up to scrutiny.